RV in Pendleton, Oregon. Today I am going to show you the brand new 2026 Backcountry 26 RPS. This is going to be their rear patio model. So Outdoors RV now builds two models that have specific outdoor patios. So one is the RPS. This one's going to have a rear patio, as the name implies, and then the 27 SPS, which has a side patio. So you can also get a patio in any kind of a toy hauler, right? So the TRX models, those are all going to have a ramp that also can be a patio. These are specifically just like a travel trailer, so they don't have a ramp because you're not going to be loading toys. So you're just going to have a patio for extra space outside, right? The rear patio has been so popular that we have had a heck of a time keeping it in stock for the last year and a half since it came out, and rightfully so. This model has two opposing slide outs and then a ramp off the back. So ultimately you're getting three extensions off of your trailer, and having a rear patio just gives you the outside. It feels like it's inside because you get an actual glass sliding door like you would see in a home. It just really feels like you've got this gorgeous view out the back. Even if the weather was terrible, having the two opposing slide outs still gives you a lot of trailer space, right? And then when the weather's nice, you have an awning off the back, you have the rear patio. It's just amazing. So this particular unit that I'm going to show you today, as with most of our videos, is going to be in the titanium series. So if you're unfamiliar with the Outdoors RV quality, if you're unfamiliar with the different levels of products, the titanium series is going to be the higher end series, which is mostly what we do here at Thompson RV. With the titanium, you'll get the auto leveling, you'll get a larger air conditioner, nicer cabinetry, nicer faucets, different countertops throughout the coach, backup camera, side marker camera, higher gloss fiberglass, the list goes on and on and on. So I'll link a video down below that shows you everything you get on a titanium series over a standard mountain series. That way, if I forget to point something out in the video, you'll know exactly what that upgrade entails. But with all of that being said, let's take a look at this model. So one of your first opposing slide outs is going to be right over here. We have it equipped with theater seating. You could also put in a sleeper sofa if you wanted right here. So if you needed an extra bed, you could easily outfit this with a sleeper sofa. And the cool thing would be that when the sleeper sofa is made out into a bed, it wouldn't even be in the way, right? So oftentimes the sleeper sofa can be in the way of the bathroom or the kitchen. This one is nice and tucked off into the corner, so it's not going to be in your way when made down into a bed. But our most popular setup is going to be theater seating. One thing I love about the RPS model is we get a lot of requests for travel trailers that have good TV viewing, right? So the way they've got this one set up, you've got the theater seating right here, and then over here in the slide out, this other slide out, you're going to have the TV. The TV is on a swivel as well, so you can bring it out to about right here and see perfectly with the theater seating over here on this side. And as you can see, with two opposing slide outs, this floor plan is just massive. You have so much floor space, so a lot of people have pets that they're taking with them. Gosh, if you wanted theater seating, but you still wanted to pack your grandkids, you could do a blow-up mattress, you could do thermarests. So there's a lot of options. I think this is a very versatile trailer. Since we're over here, you've also got a big countertop right here. You have a charging station. Your TV is going to be 12 volt. So this will run off of battery power as well as your stereo. This will play DVDs. You also have AM, FM, Bluetooth, USB ports. And then down below, you have a huge storage cabinet. So very, very deep. So you could fit a lot of things in there. And then over here, you have Outdoors RV's mountain dinette. That's kind of their coined phrase that they call their dinettes, because if you look at a standard dinette, the dinette table is typically about this big in most industry standard trailers. This one is going to have this huge table, and then they put it on extremely heavy duty legs and table bases so you don't get any kind of rocking. If you do have grandkids and somebody comes and bumps the table, your coffee isn't going to go flying. So they do a much different build on their dinette. Not to mention the foam that they use is high density, thick foam, so you won't get those concaved areas where you sit. On each side of the dinette, you're going to have an extremely large pot and pan drawer, and you have a latch, so when you're traveling down the road, it's going to stay locked. You have additional storage on each side. You just have to take apart the dinette in order to access that storage. In order to make it down into a bed, you're just going to remove the table legs, slip the table into these grooves right here, push the cushions together, and now you have a bed that's over 7 feet long. That bed is actually really comfortable too. So because of the high density foam, it's not like you feel like you're often sitting on just the wood that's underneath. Now, Outdoors RV does a different style. They use fiberglass cutouts from their sidewalls, so that's what they're using underneath, not wood. But on so many cheap trailers, you feel every bit when you make it into a bed. Because of the high density foam, you just don't feel that, so it's a nice bed. The titanium, everything's going to be trimmed out in wood. And then you're going to have the slow rise blackout shades. One thing too is in this model, because it's shaped like a toy hauler, so in order to give you a nice big ramp, this back end needs to be fairly tall. So the shape of the trailer from the outside, which I will show you, is going to be shaped like a toy hauler. That gives you a lot of additional height here in the living area, which gives you a ton of storage. I've had some comments, they're like, yeah, but the storage is so high. Well, I would much rather have the storage and have to get out a step stool than for them to have gone cheap and not given me all of this additional storage, right? So having extra cabinets is never something anybody complains about. And that is a lot of cabinets. But you just need to get a step stool when you're using this model. All of the Outdoors RVs, all of the travel trailers are going to be a 6'11" ceiling height. I've actually never measured in here, but if you're a tall person and you want even more ceiling height, this model would be perfect. Also, in the living area, you're going to have the optional fireplace. We option that into almost all of our units. One thing I really like about the fireplace is it is a heater as well. So you can run it for ambiance, you can run it for heat, and you can run it for both, right? The cool thing about this is it's a dry heat. So for instance, when we go to the Oregon coast, obviously there's a lot of moisture content in the air. Granted, the 2-inch thick walls that you get on an Outdoors RV and the dual pane windows really help with condensation. But when it's cold, you're going to be running your propane furnace. Propane has a lot of water content in it, so it creates a little bit more moisture in the air, especially if you're cooking with propane and then maybe you have pets panting, right? So you get kind of a lot of moisture in the air. Whenever we're at the coast, if we have a plug-in site, we'll go ahead and run our 110 heater. That way it dries out the air a little bit. So that is something that is important to note. 110 outlet right here, as well as 12 volt and USB charging ports. So you can set your laptop or phones or whatever right up in this area and charge. And then over here in the kitchen, you're going to have a flip up countertop extension to give you additional counter space. You're also going to have 2 drawers right here, both on heavy duty ball bearing drawer guides, and all of the drawers are solid hardwood. You have a spice rack right here, as well as an additional cabinet down here. Again, in the titanium series, one thing I hear all the time is it looked good in the video, but man, once I'm here in person, the colors are prettier than I thought, and the cabinets, they really are so worth it. All of the features you get on a titanium are totally worth it. Additional cabinets right here. Lots of storage. Again, might need a step stool, especially if you're my height. The titanium will come with hardware that's more like you would find in a house. Pull-out sprayer on the high arc kitchen faucet. In all of the Outdoors RVs, you're going to get the single basin stainless steel farm style sink with the wire rack in the bottom to protect the sink. You always get solid surface countertop covers as well for the sink. So when you're not washing dishes or something, you have extra counter space for prepping. You have a bank of 4 drawers right here. Again, all on heavy duty ball bearing drawer guides. And then they always give you a silverware tray. A new feature for 2026 is the refrigerator that opens from both sides and has the bottom freezer, which is pretty cool. So if you're cooking and you want to get in from this side, or if you're in here and you just want to reach in and grab something out of the fridge, it opens from both directions. Another cabinet up here. So tons of storage in this model. If storage is something you're after, you really can't beat it on this one. Huge pantry. And even more storage above the microwave. And then because it's a titanium, it's going to have all stainless steel appliances. And one of the coolest things is that on the titanium, the oven, you don't have to light the pilot. So it has a direct spark ignition for the oven pilot. You're going to get a knife rack right here back behind the stovetop. And then the stovetop has the glass cover so that if you need extra prep space while not cooking, you can utilize this for prep space. But then when you want to cook, you can just flip back the bifold cover and you have a 3-burner stove. This burner is high output, so if you're trying to boil water quickly. Nice size oven. One of our followers said it's Cornish game hen approved, and it absolutely is. And then a stainless steel pot and pan drawer. This was a really cool idea. So they've always had a pot and pan drawer there, but they did a stainless steel drawer to give it the look of a freestanding range, like you would find in like a high-end kitchen. So I love that. And right here at the entry door, you're gonna have light switches. This button is going to run that slide out. This button is gonna run this slide out. You've got your awning switch, fresh tank water heater. So that's a 12-volt heat pad that we order on all of our units. So even though the outdoors RV has a fully enclosed and heated underbelly while you're running your furnace, the 12-volt heat pad is great for traveling in really cold temperatures. So if you're hauling water and it's really, really cold outside, you can just flip on that tank heater for a little added protection. Right here, this is where you're gonna check your gauges for your black, gray, and freshwater tank. You've also got switches for your water pump and water heater. The other thing is because this is a titanium, it's gonna come with this handy dandy little remote. So if you don't wanna use these switches for the slide outs or the awning, you can actually run everything off of this. What's super cool about that is, especially if you're a solo traveler, you can walk outside and put out the slide out so you can watch and make sure you're not gonna hit anything. This will also run the awning light strip. And then right down here below, you're gonna have controls for your auto leveling system. Typically, we're gonna auto level from the controls that are in the front compartment. If you hit them in here, you can't move while it's auto leveling, so you have to just stand here. So typically we would just get into this if we need to, but the front compartment is where you'll actually auto level the trailer. And then right here, because this is a backcountry, it's gonna have the built-in generator. It's gonna be a little bit different than the toy hauler. The toy hauler has a fuel station, so it'll be a gas generator. This is gonna have the 3600 LP generator. So this is where you would start that, and then you have your hour meter. And last but not least, because this is a titanium, you're going to have a digital thermostat with a 15K upgraded air conditioner. Oh, and actually that wasn't last but not least. We also have a shade, a blackout shade right here at the entry door. On the titanium series, you get an elongated window, which looks really cool from the outside. And then you also have the shade on the inside. A few more titanium features that I can't live without are going to be the upgraded mattress. This mattress is so amazing that I have them throughout my house at home. The reading lights. So the reading lights are directional. So in a mountain series, you're just gonna get a pancake style light. And if you like to actually read books in bed, which I do, the pancake light just blinds you, but your book's out here in the dark and your partner's yelling at you to turn off the light, right? So having the directional reading lights where you can actually point it onto your book, that's a fabulous option, as well as under cabinet lighting. Because it's a backcountry series, you're going to have the pistol safe. It's always going to be on this side of the bed, so on the driver's side of the bed. They won't change it to the other side from the factory, but we can install another one once the trailer's here. So if you want one on that side. And then another titanium thing is going to be the solid surface countertops next to the bed. Underneath on each side, you're going to have 110 outlets, 12-volt outlets, as well as USB ports. And then because this has the standard north-south bed configuration, you're going to get the same style of bedroom that you're going to get in almost all of the outdoors RVs. So storage up above here, and then wardrobe space right here, as well as underbed storage. So there's a little bit of underbed storage here. There's a space to kick off your slippers or your shoes. And then on each side of the bed, you're going to have a pull-out drawer. And as always, those will be on heavy-duty ball-bearing drawer guides. Last titanium feature in the bedroom is going to be the 12-volt TV at the foot of the bed. So that is a little 19-inch 12-volt TV with a DVD player in the side. And then here at Thompson RV, we always option all of our units in with the Max Air Deluxe vent fans. So if you're unfamiliar with what those are, the Max fan brand, so Max Air brand, they're going to have an elongated lid. So you can run them in the rain, you can run them going down the road, you could keep it open all the time if you want. It's not going to let in any rain, it's not going to let in any pine needles and leaves and things of that nature. 10 speeds, fully automatic. You can go air intake, air exhaust. What I love to do is turn one on in the bedroom and one on in the living room area. Do one on exhaust and one on intake, and it gives you a really great cross breeze throughout the trailer. This one's on a remote that we have on the wall so that you don't have to get up on the bed in order to operate the fan. And then the 26 RPS is going to have a similar bedroom to like the 27 TRX toy hauler, 29 TRX toy hauler. So you're going to have a Jack and Jill style bathroom. So people from, if you do have somebody sleeping with you, they can come in and use the bathroom and you can have this door closed. Or if you need to use the bathroom, you can get up in the night and use this door right here. There is always going to be a ducted heat register in the bathroom as well as an air conditioning duct. That way the bathroom stays the same temperature as the rest of the trailer. Porcelain toilet. And as you can see, this has plenty of legroom. In fact, this bathroom is quite large. You have a medicine cabinet and vanity right here. Because it's a titanium, it'll have the underslung stainless steel sink with the solid surface countertops. You have the hardwood medicine cabinet, the titanium vanity mirror, 110 outlets, as well as USB-C, and the only USB-C port in the whole trailer, plus a USB-A, and then storage and waterline access down below. With the additional ceiling height in the 26 RPS, all of you tall people really don't have to worry about height in the shower. There is plenty of room. The Neo Angle shower gives you tons of arm room too, shampooing your hair. You have a step right here if you need to shave your legs. And then because it's a titanium, it's going to have the upgraded titanium hardware in the shower. And then over here, you'll have a couple of towel hooks, your switches for your Max fan here in the bathroom, and then another water pump switch. So if you hop in the door and you forget to hit the switch at the entry door and you get in here and you need to use the restroom, you can just use the pump switch right here, and then also a light switch. And I know I mentioned this earlier, but having a floor to ceiling door with all this added light is absolutely amazing. They do give you a little curtain if you want to close that for some privacy. But I love that this is a residential style door. So you have a regular screen door, regular sliding glass door. You have an awning off the back, switches right here. And then it opens up and you're outside. So all of this railing and everything collapses right into here. If you have questions on how to put down the patio, I'm going to link the 29 TRX toy hauler video in this description so that you can see that at the end of that video. I go through how to do the whole patio setup. It's super simple. On our toy hauler, my boys can do it in about 3 minutes tops. It's very easy to do even as a single woman. So don't be afraid of the patio. It's absolutely super simple to put up and down. You have a 110 outlet right here. You could use that if you had a Starlink Mini and you wanted to maybe keep it up here and off of the ground. Like I said, you have the rear awning. You also have a light here at the back. And if you have small pets or maybe children that you would like to keep contained in this area, you can slide that over and put the lock in place so that everything stays up on the patio. You have a staircase coming off of the patio. Now, if you never feel the need to have a staircase to come into your campsite, you don't have to pack that with you. The patio works without it. So you could leave that at home if you didn't want to utilize that. And then out here on the exterior of the Titanium series is where it really shines, in my opinion. So you're going to get the Lamilux high gloss fiberglass exterior. So it's going to be a thicker, higher grade of fiberglass in a gray color. So it just really looks rich, especially with the backcountry graphics. I've said this in other videos, but man, the only problem is that people will stop you at every gas station and ask you about your trailer, especially if you get into the East Coast where people haven't seen them as much. People tell me that they could be giving out brochures and business cards because they just get stopped so often because people want to see their beautiful trailer. You're also going to get the frameless windows on a Titanium. So those are dual pane, which are same as the Mountain series. They both have dual pane windows for extra insulation. These are just going to be a little bit higher end, definitely prettier, and they operate slightly different too. So the windows pop out, which is really great if you have small pets that can claw through your screen, but then also you can have the windows open and still be getting ventilation even if it's raining. Outdoors RV uses the longest awning possible on all of their travel trailers. Again, that's going to be electric. It can run off the remote or the wall switch, and then it's wrapped in aluminum to protect the fabric from UV damage. The other thing on the Titanium is obviously going to be the auto leveling system. So when you get to where you're going, you push a button, the whole trailer auto levels itself. That is absolutely worth its weight in gold. I get asked all the time if that's something you can add to a Mountain series. It's not from the factory. It is something a person could do aftermarket, but it's a terrible idea if you want my personal opinion, which I know you did, because it would cost an arm and a leg. Not to mention you have to drop the underbelly. I mean, it would just be kind of a hot mess to install it. But from the factory, they do it all right then and there before they've done all the installation and everything. So it's way more cost effective to have it right off the bat on your trailer. So rather than spending a ton of money to try and do it aftermarket, why not just spend a little bit of money and get all of the Titanium features plus the auto leveling system? A big thing that Outdoors RV is known for, if you're not familiar with them already, is going to be their chassis. So they build their own chassis. They're not buying Lippert chassis like everybody else on the market. So they build them right here in Eastern Oregon. So they always do a heavy duty frame. And then they do Goodyear Endurance Load Range G. So that's a 14 ply tire on these models as well as the toy haulers, in conjunction with their off-road X4 suspension package. So that's going to be the More Ride All-Trek 4000 suspension, heavy duty shackles with bronze bushings. A bronze bushing is going to way outlast a Teflon bushing, greasable zerts, as well as KYB off-road shocks. Now the off-road shocks are not just for off-roading. They're also very important for freeway travel because they help with any kind of body roll. Here is access and venting to your 10-gallon gas and electric water heater. You get a 100-gallon water tank on all backcountry models. So not only on just the 26 RPS, the toy haulers, also even on the little 21 BD, you're going to get a full 100 gallons of freshwater capacity. Another 110 outlet. So again, if you are camped in a park, you can run Starlink right off of that 110 port. If you plan on boondocking and want to run a Starlink Mini, we can install a 12-volt Starlink port as well. We do not sell Starlink, so you have to get the Starlink and the subscription directly, but we can do a 12-volt port if that's something you're interested in. On this model, you do have the built-in generator, so you could always just run it off of the 110 side and kick on the gen whenever you needed the satellite. The titanium, everything's going to come trimmed out in chrome. So you get the grab bar handle, the chrome locks, and then you have the new torque lift glow step. That's been a really popular step. So it collapses up and goes right here underneath the trailer versus going up inside the door. Right here, you're going to have a little hatch that you can open up and access a quick disconnect LP port so you can run a fire pit or a barbecue. The spare tire is up under the frame on the 26 RPS, so that would be where you would put the handle to lower down the spare tire. Side marker cameras on the Backcountry series, on the RPS Backcountry. So the 27 SPS, the Backcountry, and the other TRX models, so the toy haulers, because of that rear patio awning, Outdoors RV does not install a backup camera from the factory. However, we can absolutely add it. You just get a little bit of vision is blocked because of the awning, but really I still think it's worth it. So it comes with the side marker camera, it's just not the backup camera like the rest of the titaniums do. You have huge storage right here. Slam latch, luggage doors, magnetic catch. So as you can see, I put it up easily one-handed and don't have to worry about it falling down on my head. Shovel and axe holder in all of the Backcountries, as well as the MoreRide slide out tray. This particular model is equipped with 1,000 watts of solar, so we're going to have 2 solar charge controllers here in the front compartment. You have an LED light strip. You have your auto leveling controls. That's our preferred location to auto level the unit, just because then you can do other stuff outside while the trailer is in auto leveling mode. Battery kill switch, as well as 12-volt and USB ports right there inside as well. Again, double slam latch. You really want that, as well as that insulated door, to not get a draft into your bedroom. You can do an additional 200 watts of portable solar here on the side if you wanted to. And if you were going to do a Starlink port, we typically put it here in this same location. This is going to have the full fiberglass cap, so it's going to wrap around and have a seam here at the side. All of the Backcountry models are going to come equipped with the the off-grid battery rack. So that's the tray here in front behind the propane tanks, but here in front of the trailer, so that we can then put on our powder-coated aluminum lock box. So we can fit up to 300 amp hour lithium batteries right there. And then the toy lock is just going to be a cable lock that locks into itself. 2 10-gallon propane tanks, so larger tanks on the Backcountry series. Part of that is because you have the LP generator, so they're giving you a little bit more capacity to operate that gen. Front power jack is part of the auto leveling system. You have the hitch caddy, so you can put your 7-way cord, your breakaway cable, and your safety chains, and you can hook them here to get them up and off the ground when not in use. You have the new Wallace coupler, and that is adjustable. Right here, you have your Onan 3600 LP generator. 3600 is equivalent to about a 4,000 in a gas generator, so plenty of gen to operate your 15K air conditioner. Additional side marker camera. One thing that's unique to the TRX models is going to be sewer hose storage. That's because you're not going to get the same style of bumper off the back. So you have sewer hose storage right here. Coming around this way, you have kayak hatches so that you can access the handles for your gray and black tank. The reason they give you these hatches is because all of the valves are up and enclosed on Outdoors RV products. So the valve handles end up being so far under here, they just give you these little hatches so you can reach in easier without having to get down on your hands and knees. But the most important thing about what I just said was actually that they're all fully enclosed and heated. So you wouldn't believe how many trailers I've seen that say they have some sort of Four Seasons package and they have their black valve. So here's the underbelly. They have it hanging way down here. Well, anybody can realize that if it gets cold, that's going to completely freeze. So even if your tank is heated, you're going to have a block of ice, so you can't dump it. So it's very important to have all of those valves up and enclosed. You have a light right here if you need it. Because it's a backcountry, it's going to have a separate water pump and a spray port. So that will be a quick disconnect with a coil hose. So it's not an outside shower, it's an actual little pressure washer. Insulated door on that as well. Black tank flush, and then city water. So if you would rather not pack 100 gallons of water and you're going to a park, you can just connect to city water right there. You have a ladder to get up and down off of the full walk-on roof. Right here is where you'll hook up your 30 amp power cord. You have satellite and cable hookup, and then access and venting to your furnace. And then another thing that is going to be a titanium feature is going to be the slide out toppers. I love slide out toppers. They are an absolute must because when anything falls on top of your slide out, whether it's water, rain, those are the same thing, ice, snow, or pine cones, pine needles, when you run in the slide out, it's just going to all fall off. But it keeps it all off the top of the slide, so nothing ever even touches the top of the slide. With the slide outs in, you can easily get into the bedroom and take a nap, use the restroom, grab something out of the fridge, the pantry. You have full access to the kitchen. And you can easily get to the other end of the trailer. I'm not really sure why you would need to. We don't recommend using the slide outs when traveling down the road. So really there's no major reason to get through there, but you can if you need to. And even this cabinet down under the TV is fully accessible. I suppose I probably wouldn't pack anything that I need while on the road in the upper cabinets, just because those would not be easily accessible. Thank you so much for watching our video on the brand new 26 RPS model. If you have questions on this particular model or any of the Outdoors RV, please feel free to give us a call.